hopefully the camera shows it. There's a cardboard insert inside that makes it stiff, and it only goes like up to there. So when you use the sponge brushes to print, this whole section of the brush bends, and it just doesn't work real well. You need a little bit of pressure when you print, and by cutting off the tip of it, you now have a sponge brush that's real firm. So that's what I do. But like I said, I'm not going to tell you there's any right or wrong way to do it. You do what works best for you and what you're... Okay, sorry about that. My camera ran out of memory and I didn't realize it. So there might be a little bit of a glitch in the video, and I apologize for that, but we'll just keep going. So we talked about the pull tools, and that means, that's what I call them, pull tools, because that's what you use to pull the paint across the screen. So what we're going to do now is actually get down to printing, and I'm going to show you two ways to print. I'm going to show you the quote-unquote correct way to print, and then I'm going to show you how I do it, which is a little more relaxed, a little more, you know, just play as you go kind of printing, but you do whatever way feels more comfortable for you, because it's really important that you enjoy the process and have fun with what you're doing. So this is what the thermofax screens look like. You'll notice that this screen looks like it's dirty, but it's not. Some of the pigments of the paint will leave halo marks on the screen even after you wash them out. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with the screen, and these colors will not show up on your next print. This particular screen is called Sun-Bathed Sunflower, and it's from a photograph that Michelle Sposito took, and it is in the Etsy store. This screen is obviously used, but every screen that gets ordered through the Etsy store is brand new and never been used before, so I don't want you to think you're going to get a screen that looks like this if you place an order. So let's show the the more correct way to screen print. Every screen, there's the image, which is here, and then there's a space between the image and the duct tape. The duct tape is important because it keeps the screen from fraying, otherwise it'll just completely come apart. There are plastic frames that you can attach to these, but they're more expensive and you have to mail order them, and it kind of just drives the cost up on everything. And if you do a lot of screen printing, like I do, it's just more economical to use the duct tape, and now the duct tape comes in fun colors, so it's even more fun. There's two sides to your screen. There's a side that has a little bit of a texture to it, and then there's a side that's shiny. You're going to put the shiny side down when you print against your fabric or whatever object you're printing on, and you're going to put the paint on the textured side. When I label all of the screens, and this includes the screens that are purchased, I write the name of the screen on the textured side, so that's a little bit of an easier way to remember which way you should print. So what we're going to do is, there's a space between the flower and the tape, and it's called the well. And this is where, if you're doing, if you took a class on screen printing, they would tell you that you should put your paint across the well. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to squirt it across the area just above the image, and what happens is that's where you're going to drag the paint across your entire image from this base. So you want to hold your screen down, and you just put your two fingers and push down, and then you're going to take your screen printing pull tool. In this case, I'm going to use the plastic one because it's wider, so for this way of printing it works a little bit better. And you're just going to take the tool and pull it across your image. And you can see, as soon as you pull the paint across, and it could take a couple pulls to make sure that you get every area, you can see as soon as you pull it across that the image is much easier to see. If you're not sure if you've gotten the paint everywhere that you need it to be, you can lift up the screen and take a look underneath. And if you see an area that you're not really happy with how it's printed, just lay it back down and do a couple more swipes across it. So that's all there is to it. You pull the screen back and you've got a print. It's really that simple. So it's really important, like I mentioned earlier, to not let the paint dry in your screen. And even though this is screen printing paint and it stays wetter longer, we still don't want to let it dry. So what I do is I have a kitty litter box that you can see back here, and it's got a couple inches of water in it. So if I'm doing a lot of printing, I will take the screens and just toss it in there, and it keeps the paint wet so that it doesn't dry in it. So that's the more traditional way to screen print. I'm going to show you how I do it, which is a little more fast and loose, but like I said, it's completely up to you which method you prefer. And you can kind of see here why I have this extra piece of fabric underneath. It absorbs all of that pink that went through, and it's just another layer that helps keep your work surface clean. Okay, so this is the way that I print, and it's just more relaxed, and it's how I enjoy doing it. This is another screen that's available in the Etsy store. It's called Spiral Cloud 2, and it was designed by Jackie Lambs. And I tend to just squirt my paint directly onto where the image is. I put my hand on the edge of the screen, and I just slop it right on, and then I take my sponge brush and I just go across it, sort of more like painting rather than having to pull it. I have no explanation really why I prefer to do it this way. I just find it more relaxing and easier to do. So if you prefer this way, then that's the way you should do it. Like I said, you have to be comfortable and you have to enjoy the process. It's the same thing where you can check to see if it's printed the way you like it, and if it hasn't, you just set it back down and you mush a little bit more paint around. And I want to mention that you don't have to be really brutal with this, because I know sometimes when you do more traditional screen printing, you really push hard down on the mesh. It's not necessary with the thermofax screens. A lighter touch will do, so you don't really have to go at it too hard. And you can just pull it back, and you have your image. So that's the way I tend to print, and it's an alternative. And one of the things that I noticed during the demo at Open Studios was that a lot of people thought that it was easier, so that's why I thought I would show it to you. I want to mention to you that how to take care of your print. All you have to do is let it dry, and then heat set it according to the bottle's directions, and then it should be permanent for you. When you wash out your screens, use warm water. Don't use hot water. And what I tend to do, that's another reason I like the sponge brushes, is I tend to go like this with the sponge brush and sort of use it to help clean the screen off. One thing I forgot to mention, when you're printing with the sponge brush, make sure that you use the side of it. Don't go like this and use the tip of it, because remember, you've got that cardboard insert and it could scratch your screen. So you want to wash your screen completely off with warm water. You don't need to use soap or anything like that. Just warm water is fine. And I usually lay them out on paper towels and let them air dry. You want to store them flat so that they don't wrinkle or anything like that. They're pretty tough screens. I mean, they're pretty hard to screw up, but it is possible. Don't fold them. If you put a crease in them, then they stay that way. And honestly, I have screens that have been around for 3 or 4 years and have given me hundreds of prints, and they may not be the prettiest, most attractive things after that many uses, but they still work, and that's what's important. So that's all that there is to it. So hopefully you have discovered a new fun way to do this. This works really well with personal imagery, and that's something that I offer, a service I offer in the Etsy store. You can make screens from your own logos, from pictures that you've taken, anything that you draw. It's a really, really good way to personalize your work. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And please take a look at the Etsy store and see if there's anything there that you like. I'll include a link below the video so that you can find it easily. Thank you very much, and happy printing.